Hello Aditi, how are you?
Oh, I'm great. What about you, Priyanka?
I'm absolutely fine. So, how has been your journey? How has been your life at Google?
Well, I completed my internship approximately a month ago, and it's been a wonderful, wonderful time at Google. The place is uh, absolutely amazing to work at, and the culture and the people are very, very, very amazing.
So, before moving ahead, I would like you to introduce yourself because the kids are quite eager. Ki, like, who is Aditi Gupta?
Yeah, so hi guys, I am Aditi Gupta, and I am currently a third year student at Indira Gandhi Delhi Technical University for Women, and I'm currently pursuing BTech in Electronics and Communication Engineering with Artificial Intelligence, and I'm a step intern.
Yeah, that was fantastic. Like, सबसे पहली चीज, we'll be beginning. What is Google Step?
So Google Step is a diversity inclusion program, which is by Google, which basically focuses that people who are underrepresented in the technological community are given more opportunities to come forward and join the STEM world. So basically, it focuses on gender inclusion. So it's mostly targeted towards females, people who identify as females, or people with disabilities, and that's the main focus of this program. Males, we can see some of them in the Google Step program, but I don't exactly know what the criteria for them is. But majorly, it's targeted towards females.
Okay. Since your branch is ECAI, that is electronics, and we were once classmates, people do not know this that I come from ECAI background, but somehow I got upgraded to IT. So we are no longer batchmates. But you were in ECI. So did you ever think, or did that thought ever come to your mind like my branch is a barrier? I belong to electronics branch. तो मुझे कम opportunities या कम chances तो नहीं मिलेंगे IT और CSC वाले बच्चों के comparison में?
Yeah, definitely it was a thought because generally companies do not favor ECE, but Google changed a lot of the way that I think thought in that arena. Because while I did think there might be something that they'll think that probably ECE students are not that good, it all boils down to how well prepared you are, how confident you are in yourself, and how good you do in the interviews and the OAs and your CVs and everything. So I think at the end of the day, it's about ability. Uh, that's pretty much.
Okay. So, who are eligible for Google Step? First years, second years, and which branches are eligible? And for eligibility, do they consider CGPA, resume, or anything else like any prior experience in the industry or something else that you would like to add on to this?
Yeah. So currently, everyone who is in the second year or of their undergraduate degree in Bachelor's of Technology is eligible for this. I am not exactly. I can't say for certain if this year electronics or mechanical will be allowed or not. But generally, in my when I was applying for it, electronics was allowed, and consequently, I did get selected eventually in the program as well. So generally, everyone who is in the second year can apply. There's no as of CGPA criteria in the program as of yet. I myself had a less than 8 CGPA when Google came in. I had more than 7, but less than 8. And it's generally a mix of factors that they look forward before shortlisting a candidate. So, if I say there are 4 rounds. So, first is a resume selection. Basically, it's a combined round. It's a resume selection as well as an OA clearing round. So, you're given a Google online challenge, which is essentially a OA for Google, and a resume selection round, which you're supposed to submit your resume or CV, and the accumulation of both the results of both the rounds is combined, and then you're shortlisted for interviews. The resume, in my opinion, there is you are in your second year. Nothing much is can be expected from you to have a lot experience in the tech world, but you should have a decent amount of projects. 2 or 3 projects will be good, and some work experience. Actually, none of us had any work experience in our second year. Again, a lot cannot be expected from a second year student.
Okay, so that was all about who all can apply. So, like you talked about projects. So, is there anything should anyone focus only on front end projects or पूरा combined back end front end ऐसे मतलब किस टाइप के projects होने चाहिए गूगल में अपना resume shortlist कराने के लिए like experience में you cannot write anything क्योंकि you are in second year you do not
Mm.
have anything. Google
Yeah.
Step is the very first opportunity in terms of internship. तो अब
Yeah.
पूरे एक पेज
Uh,
भरना कैसे है तो दैट इज द क्वेश्चन बेसिकली.
so if I reframe your question, you're basically asking me how do we present a resume that one that gets shortlisted. So basically, I also got selected in a scholarship called Women Engineers Scholarship by Talent Sprint. Similar video has been posted by you as well. So a lot of what I've learned, the program was incredibly helpful. Actually, the majority of the reason why I got into STEP in the first place. So a lot of what they taught was that always keep your skills section of the resume on top of the resume. Basically, your skills. If you look at the basic templates on LaTeX using Overleaf, you can find some basic templates which have skills. You should always put it on the top of your resume, which contains your languages, framework, any tools that you know, and exactly it's a gist of what all you have learned during your 2 years here. Then you should have your experience in your projects, your positions of responsibility, and volunteer experiences should be at the bottom of the resume. And project, there's no certain criteria. It needs to be front end, or it needs to be back end, or it can be used made using DSA as well. My resume, when I was applying for STEP, had a project based on Python in which I made a tic-tac-toe AI, which was just another project that I learned from YouTube using FreeCodeCamp. So again, there's not much uh, specifications on what type of projects you need to do. Just make sure that there are some projects that you're proud of, and some projects that you know very well and you've done yourself, and which you can showcase. And well, while they're not asked in the interview explicitly, at least not from me, you can answer if asked in the future from you. Again, in the experience section of my resume, I added ML and CS workshop that I did as an internship under Unconventional Foundation, one that is offered to I think almost everyone in first year. So you can add that and experience as well. And in your positions of responsibility and your volunteer experiences, you can add the societies that you're in, the positions that you held in them, some hackathons that you won probably. The academic achievements section is also important in the resume. You can add if you topped in 10th, 12th, if you did something academically which you thought you were proud of and which is relevant to the resume, you can add it in that section. Again, the resume should be very concise. There should not be paragraphs in it. Make sure that there are pointers. There are no colors explicitly. No blues, no reds, yellows, no colors at all. Basic, very black and white resume. And very no spelling errors at all. And very arranged systematically. The margins and the spaces between the headings and between the pointers should be perfect. I know it's a lot to do. I myself have spent when I was applying for STEP, I spent more than 10 hours on my resume alone just to build it. And it's going to be tough, right? But I'm sure that uh, everyone can do it. And and the best place that you can actually make a resume is Overleaf. I'm sure Priyanka would agree as well. It's one of the best softwares
Yes.
out there uh, that you can make a resume on, and I would not personally recommend Word or any other PDF or any other software that you use to edit. So yeah, I think that's I tried to cover most points about how to build your resume and one that actually gets shortlisted.
दैट वाज इमेंस लाइक आई वाज मतलब ऐसा लग रहा था कि हम रिज्यूमे वीडियो रिकॉर्ड कर रहे. इट वाज सो इन डेप्थ. सबका सब कुछ क्लियर हो गया होगा. ओके, नाउ मूविंग अहेड.
Well, hoping to.
हाँ,
Yeah.
नाउ मूविंग अहेड. डेट्स लाइक फॉर्म्स कब रिलीज होते हैं गूगल स्टेप के एंड लाइक व्हाट इज द होल प्रोसेस. फॉर्म्स में इज देयर एनी क्वेश्चन दैट इज स्पेसिफिक टू आवर स्किल्स, like any HR related question is asked in the form, or just simple details are asked, like in which year we are, in which batch we are, and what has been our CGPA since now. Yeah.
So again, all that I'm telling you is specific to my year. I can't. No one can be certain if the procedure is changed for this year, but I'll tell what happened in my year. Generally, Google Step comes around October or November, but because there was something that happened in our year, it got a little bit delayed. So we got our step, like we got to know through TNP that step has opened around end of December. I think 22nd December was the date that we received the notification that okay, step applications are open. I also had applied through WE, which is Women Engineers Program, before applying to on campus. So I had applied on the portal, careers portal of Google before applying on campus. So when the notification came, we got to know that even though I had applied through WE, I can still apply on campus. And I just had to tell my TNP self that look, I also applied through WE, and I'm applying right now to on campus as well. So in the on-campus procedure, generally your TNP cell will forward you a Google form, and you'll have to fill it. It contains basic details, your CGPA till date, the branch you're in, your graduation year, your full name, mobile number, and basic details which are asked everywhere in every TNP form. And then it's forwarded. Then you will get similar a Google online challenge password and key, which is basically your OA online assessment, and you will also have to submit your resume for it, which I told before, is the first round of selection for Google Step. So once you clear that, your TNP cell will receive a list from Google as the shortlisted participants who will go forward for the interview. So if you're shortlisted, you will have to face two rounds of technical interviews, which are 45 minutes each. I think we'll go in detail of how those interviews went later in the video as well. But basically, those interviews happen on the same day and within, I think, an hour or two of each other. So I had my interviews from January 7th. I had my interview on January 9th. And I remember giving it in the morning from, I think, 11 or 11:30, and it went on, and within an hour or two, or I got a notification that I have been shortlisted for a second interview. Only when you clear the first round of interview will you be like taken to the next one, and then I gave the second interview. So this was the entire process which one goes through when applying for Google Step. And after that, I think a month after that, we got our results, which again may depend year to year.
Okay. So that was about the whole process. Now comes to the preparation part. Like ये doubt बहुत रहता है कि जो Google online challenge है, what kind of questions and what is the level of questions, and more about interviews. Like interviews दोनों technical होते हैं या HR भी होता है, and what is the level of questions. Like second year के बच्चे को कितना prepare करना चाहिए to face the interviewer, and interviewer same रहता है दोनों rounds में, and everything in depth about the interviews.
Yeah. So I'll try to. That's a lot of information in one question. I'll try to cover all of it. Uh, so starting from how much preparation you should do for the OA. So I'm sure that you will understand and I will understand this, but the OAs that we face in third year are so much more harder than in second year. So second year OAs are, at least I found them relatively easy. They're, I think, max to max, they're medium questions in lead code. I think, and everyone gets a different set. And for that OA, you don't have to be that much nervous or stressed, because if you have done DSA, at least strings, arrays, graphs, trees, the basic part, you have practiced it well, you would be able to clear that OA. It's nothing much more complex. It's just medium to easy questions on lead code, and you get two questions, and I think you get an hour to solve them. And I think once you get to third year, you'll also understand what I'm talking about. In interviews as well, medium questions of lead code were asked. At least that's what my understanding of the question was. At least my first interview was very smooth, uh, very, very smooth. I was asked some basic questions. I had to, if you're talking about interviews, let's start from the start. So basically, in interviews, you have to give a brute force approach. First, the interviewer lays down the question, and the question can be open ended as well. So it may not be exactly certain that you'll get all the details. If you're confused somewhere, you can ask the interviewer that, "Acha, okay, I'm stuck here, or is this specified? Do I get this? Do I get this input? Do I have to make this input? Do I have to print this out?" and stuff. And you can ask clarifying questions. It's generally considered a good quality if you do. And once you do, you have take a minute to understand the question, take a minute to make up your mind, and then present a brute force approach. Basically, what's your first thought? What's your first approach towards the question? And then you need to optimize it. So if you're doing something in, let's say, O of n square, how can you do it in O of n, or O of n log n, or O of n log n, right? So then you optimize it, present it to the interviewer, and similarly, you can ask them if they are satisfied with it, and if you can code now. And once you code it, they'll ask you the time complexity and space complexity for the same, which you need to know. So practice on those grounds as well. That was how the interview went. No HR rounds were conducted. Both of them are technical rounds, which are DSA based. Only DSA questions were asked, nothing about OOPS or OS. Uh, Again, this is for my experience and for my ear. And generally, dynamic programming is not asked as such because it's not expected from second students. So, but again, it's for my ear, right? And both the interviews in both the rounds are different. And even I was not even asked about my project. But again, it might depend from person to person who got through the process. So all I could say is, if you're in second year and if you're trying to prepare for Google Step, please start your DSA practice early. Please go on lead code, do at least two questions every day. Do not go for hard questions; they will demotivate you. You can eventually, once you are, when you think you're good enough at them, but I'd say go for easy and medium. Mostly medium. Easy gets a little too easy for it, and know the concepts well. Do not cheat while you're practicing, because ultimately it makes you better. So try to think analytically, try to think of different approaches you can take. And that's something that even interviews like did not go that well. I did come up with like at least five different approaches. I was stuck in my basic approach only, and I barely coded it in time before the interview ended. So I was pretty sure that I will not get this step internship, but to my amazement, sheer amazement, I did get it. So you may never know how much communication and how much confidence can matter in an interview before you give it. So work on that as well, I would say. I think I pretty much covered it. Did I leave anything out, Priyanka?
नहीं नहीं so how to stay motivated even after the rejection.
Yeah, so our year got 40 got selected. Before us, around 200 step interns were there. Don't No need to lose so much hope. But on to a more serious tone. Uh, it will be hard to stay motivated after facing rejection. It will be your first rejection in college, and it will be hard for some time. I've seen people going through the internship period as well. Priyanka must have also, because we are in the third year. It might be absolutely heartbreaking for you, but you need to understand that the one thing that I learned at Google, that even, let's assume that you did not get a Google step, then you can apply for Google's free intern in third year. Let's assume that you did not get the intern as well. You can apply for Google in your fourth year as a placement purpose. If you did not get there are plenty of opportunities that you get throughout your life to get at Google, to interview for Google, and to eventually get into Google. So a lot of people Googlers that I did interact with, did not get Google on their on-campus placement. They applied after getting a few years of experience in their field. So there's absolutely no reason that you should be disheartened. You should be, in fact, proud that you actually worked so hard for it. that you had the courage to apply for it. And if anything, that rejection is going to make you a better person at the end, because ultimately, the truth remains that one interview, two interviews are not going to decide the course of your entire fate. While Google is an amazing company to work at, there are so many companies out there they which have an amazing work culture, amazing environment, a group of people that are amazing at heart and they're very good at what they do. And it's a plethora of opportunities out there. So if not this, there's always an option of what now. So you can always apply for so many other opportunities out there, and there's no need to lose heart. Just get better with time, and hard work eventually pays off. So keep striving.
Very rightly said. So, how was your experience at Google? Like, you had 2 months, I guess, 2 months summer internship. How was the
Uh,
office? How were the people there? And how was your work experience? Like, second year के खत्म होने के बाद हमें इतना experience भी नहीं होता industry का. How did you cope up with that technology stack?
yeah. So I was a 12-week intern. I applied for a 10-week intern because eventually I got a 12-week intern somehow, and I got it at Bangalore. So obviously I live in Delhi, so I had to move my entire Boria Vista to Bangalore and live there alone for 12 weeks. So the first couple of weeks were pretty hard because again, Google does not follow tech stacks which are out here in the world. It has tech stacks of its own that you need to ramp up and you need to learn. So one very major challenge that I encountered was that I had trouble ramping up because I was very afraid that how will I be able to do it. That's the imposter syndrome which takes in, and which I'm pretty sure plenty of people might agree with me that they have it as well. All I can say is don't be afraid to learn new things, and you will be able to learn them so much faster than you actually think that you're going to. First few weeks are ramp up, 3 4 weeks they give you to actually learn their tech stacks, learn how everything works, and you are covered with documentation. And they have softwares of their own, they have tech stacks of their own that you need to learn how to operate, how to code in, and how to be good at. So the first few weeks are then your project actually begins. You are given mentors and hosts and co-hosts which guide you through every step, and eventually at the end you get presentation, the final presentation, and some few more documents that you have to submit if you need to get a PPI. If I speak outside the technical terms, my Google experience was absolutely wonderful. I met some great, amazing, very intelligent people out there. People from all different spheres that you meet. Because till date, I think everyone has been in a very protective environment. So Google was an amazing, amazing place to be at. The office is great. The infrastructure is great. The food is great. That's one of the major reasons, as a joke, why people come to Google. But in actuality, it's very tasty. It's delicious, and the variety is great. You meet amazing set of people. You have some tasty finger licking delicious food. There are good vibes all around. I haven't met till date a person in Google who was mean to me. They're all very nice. They're all very comforting. All very welcoming. It's a great work culture in Google as well. So uh, it's very uh, it feels very good to be in amidst so many people who are very good at their jobs, who are ambitious about their job, and you get to learn so much from them. So all in all, I would say it was a life changing experience for me.
Oh, nice. Thank you so much, Aditi, for taking out time today on very short notice. And you were just so fantastic and flawless today. I was just like, this girl is very flawless. I was falling in love the way you speak, the confidence that you carry, and the words that you speak. So all the juniors can connect with Aditi on her LinkedIn, and I'll be attaching the link in the description box. You can check it out, and you can definitely give her a high five in her DM. It's gonna spam now.
Yeah, definitely. And it's been absolutely an absolute pleasure for me, Priyanka. Thank you for having me here. And you're doing some amazing, amazing things for the community and for the juniors. And I think that's an amazing thing to do. I have used amazing quite a lot in this talks that we had.
No, no.
So yeah, sure, you can connect with me on LinkedIn, and I'll be happy to connect with you.
Thank you. Bye bye, and we'll meet you soon.
Bye bye.
Thank you everyone for joining me and Aditi today. I guess all your doubts have been cleared, and I have something important to share for opportunities related information and for study material stuff. You can join Cosmic Coders community. I have provided their links in the description as well, and I have mentioned mine and Aditi Gupta's LinkedIn account in the description box. You can check all the links out, and you will definitely love them. Bye bye, take care, and meet you in the next video. And do leave your feedback in the comment section. I would love to hear it.